Okay, so we got Charla here. She just finished up her customized platinum plan program. Um, so we'll kick things off by starting off with you, Charla. Why don't you go ahead and share what your success was while working with us?
So, I mean, I will start out by saying that prior to starting the program, I was kind of, I don't want to say one of the worst places in my life, but I had weighed the most that I had ever weighed outside of being pregnant. I had a lot of, say, injuries and issues, like, one being I recently had bilateral hip replacement surgery. I have prior back injuries. I have one knee that does not have an ACL. I have a torn rotator cuff and also entering menopause. So, in starting the program, I felt like I was up against a lot. But I am kind of one of those people that I don't like to throw the towel in. So, I had reached out to Daquan and we kind of discussed everything. Um, I trusted him, even though I was a bit doubtful. Um, so going back to your original question, I'm sorry, I gave you a little bit of background. What was
You're
the
fine.
original question?
What was your success while working with us? The
Got
experience.
it.
Oh,
Got it. Okay. So in that being said, um, I've done programs before where I've jumped into the programs and I've done, say, like 30-day challenges, 60-day challenges, 90-day challenges, and I've looked fabulous right after those challenges. But what was never taught to me in those programs was a program that was sustainable. And
mhm.
that's kind of what I was really looking for this time because I was tired of, going in, coming out looking fabulous. And then a month later, I had lost everything. So with this program, we discuss sustainability. So I will say one of the challenges for me is I didn't see a lot of results right off the bat, just
Mhm.
because I was entering this journey differently. It wasn't to get fast results, it was slower
Right.
results. So for me, not getting results right off the bat was kind of discouraging. Um, Even though losing weight was, I mean, I did want to lose some weight, but that wasn't 100% my goal. The scale was not moving anywhere.
Mhm.
And I know I reached out to Daquan a few times about that, and his words were always just trust the process, trust the process. And then very important in taking the progress pics. That was to me was the one thing that really
Mhm.
kept me motivated was taking the
Right.
progress pics because even if though because I had decided not to even jump on the scale anymore because it was a little bit discouraging. So in doing the progress pics, that's where I really saw, the inches coming off and then the, clothes fitting differently, people complimenting you. Um, so for me, it's more about learning because I still got work to do,
Mhm.
but it's just more about learning how to live and be sustainable, still enjoy life,
Right.
and still continue on the journey of achieving the body that you want. It's just going to be at a slower pace.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a real quick thing to add in there, just like you said, a lot of coaches, trainers, or programs out here, you will join them and they use like restrictive methods. And like you said, you'll get in amazing shape, but the second you stop doing those methods, you just blow right back up. So our style is a little bit different. We like to teach our clients to get to their goal in a sustainable way. That way they can get in shape and learn how to stay in shape. And of course, it's a slower process because you're not doing anything restrictive. You're still
Exactly.
eating foods that you love to eat. You're still snacking. You're still going to events and enjoying yourself here and there. But at the same time, you're hopping right back on track and getting closer to that goal day by day instead of trying to take that fast approach, which is not gonna it's not gonna what's the word I'm looking for? It's not gonna keep you in shape for a long period of time if that makes sense.
It's not sustainable. That's the word I always
Yeah.
like to
Right.
use. It's not sustainable, So
Okay, cool. So the next question I have for you is what did you like most about the program?
just kind of piggybacking on that, being able to have a little bit more flexibility, not restricting, because like I said, on those programs, they were very restrictive. Like, okay, I can't go out until Saturday because my cheat day is Saturday,
Mhm.
and the foods that you're eating are very restrictive. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think we have to be selective in certain foods, even just for health reasons.
Right.
But just very selective, and you just kind of don't even look forward to eating because it's not pleasurable, whereas on this program, you sat down and you specifically asked, what are the foods that you like to eat and what don't you like to eat? Because if you don't like eating something, it's not going to be something that is going to be, once again, using my word, sustainable or maintainable, and then thinking just kind of in those other programs too, it's like it's always the bad carbs, like, oh, you can't have potatoes or you can't have white rice. And those are two of my favorite carbs, so it's just how do you go ahead and incorporate it in there?
Right.
So being able to still eat foods that you like. I mean, you can eat potato chips, you can eat a donut. I mean, you can eat that stuff. You just have to know how to add it into the program. And then something else that I learned from you too, which actually started working for me, was about the cheat day thing. Because I know on the cheat days, I would wild out, like literally from 12 o'clock a.m. on Saturday to 12 o'clock a.m. on Sunday, I'm wilding out. But after speaking to you, you were saying like doing that could actually, because you're probably intaking more calories on that day than you really think that you are. It's like, okay, I get this cheat day, but you could kind of almost be negating everything that you've done during the week with your calorie intake. So just being smarter about it. So you were like, maybe 3 days out of the week have a cheap meal, versus just wilding out on Saturdays. And I do think that and then not to mention, you just feel sick, like, for whatever reason, you just eat like a pig and then you feel sick. So I think even taking that approach, has definitely worked out better for me.
Yeah, and
it's every Saturday I don't need to pick out, it's like you don't need to just because Saturday is there. Save it for if someone wants to go out on a Tuesday night or a Thursday night, and then you have that flexibility.
And going back to like what you said about like the cheat day, a lot of people do that because you have to take into account, let's just say, for example, you have to eat like 1,500 calories per day throughout like the entire week in order to lose 1 pound per week. If you eat 1,500 calories per day, 6 days out the week, and that last day you eat like 3,500 calories, you literally just like disrupted that whole week. So instead of doing like a cheat day where you hog out, the cheat meals, they're a little bit more sustainable. So it's like, okay, for dinner, I want to go on a date with my husband and get whatever I want out this menu. You can do that as long as it falls within your calorie intake for that day. But you make sure that you hop right back on track that next meal instead of that next Monday or that next week or whatever it is that people do when they start and stop whenever it comes to eating healthy. But the last question that I have for you is, what would you say to somebody that's on the fence of joining our one-on-one coaching program? Maybe they're watching this video and they're thinking about joining. They're a little bit doubtful. They're nervous how you was before we actually first started. What would you say to them?
First, I would just say invest in yourself. Number one, because if you're already on the fence, and especially if you've been on the fence for a while, you probably most likely need to take that leap. And I know for me, which I do believe for most other people out there, it's an accountability thing. Because I mean, like I said, you can take things away and you can have, but sometimes just having that accountability, knowing that you're going to have to check in with somebody, knowing that you're going to have to, if you're being honest with yourself, that's another thing. You still got to be honest with yourself because he's not going to be over your shoulder. I mean, obviously he ain't going to ever be over your shoulder. But what I'm saying is, for me, I'm not paying that money just to lie. You know what I'm saying? If I'm paying that money and knowing that you're going to have that accountability, and then also too, because like I said, for you, you would kind of push me through those moments, like even those moments, because considering all the body injuries that I have, it was plenty of times where I told you I couldn't work out this week. And I felt down because of course I had gotten into a momentum of working out, but it's like you would say, it is what it is. Trust the process, let your body rest. You'll be back on it next week. So just having that person, so you just don't fall way down into the rabbit hole, which is so easy for us to do.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you for sharing that. A lot of people, like I say, they need that external accountability until the working out and the eating healthy becomes an internal habit. And from there, we can manage and maintain our results on our own without a coach or a trainer. So that's what our goal is as far as the coaching program with you guys from an accountability standpoint. But I appreciate you for sharing, Charla. And if anybody has any questions, y'all can comment down below on this video, and me or her are gonna answer y'all questions inside of the Facebook group. You got anything you want to share before I stop the video, Charla?
I do want to kind of shout out to Daquan, because I've worked with plenty. No, seriously, I've worked with, like I said, I've done challenges. I've worked with people. I've worked with people who were older, whatever. He's very responsive. You know, you reach out to him. He'll get you. You know, some days you might be like, oh, okay, maybe he partied a little bit too hard last night. No, seriously, no. But he literally gets back to you, like, you know, normally within a couple hours. Mm-hmm. And then he's just very mature. And I told him that right off the bat. Like, I don't know exactly how old he is, but I know he could probably be my son. But I've just always commended him on his professionalism, you know, considering, because like I said, I've worked with people that are older, they're not as responsible, they're not as professional. So I just wanted to give that shout out to him.
I really appreciate that so much. I do my best to, like I said, do what I love, but at the same time, help you guys any way I can. But that's it for this video, guys. Like I said, if y'all have any questions, y'all can comment down below, and me or Charla will answer y'all questions inside of the Facebook group. But I'm Coach D, and I'm out. Okay.